Welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to be replacing the serpentine belts, N63. Pretty much all your V8 BMWs are going to be very similar, whether it's an X or a 5 or a 7. This is actually a 2014 750. It's a little bit of work, but it's very expensive. You go to BMW, they want $600–700 to replace your belts. So a couple things before we get started. I did this one time and I went to like AutoZone and I bought some belts, put them on. I said, a belt's a belt. What's the difference? Well, it's upside down. And every time the air conditioner turned on, it squealed. So I'm like, okay. So I ordered a couple directly from BMW, put it on, problem solved. So unfortunately, a few things are that way for these cars. I know I went around with the air pressure monitor, bought aftermarket tire pressure sensors for my tires, and they just wouldn't work. No matter what I did, they just wouldn't work. Go to BMW, you pay that money. I think they were like $175 each. Put them on, problem solved. So unfortunately, a few things are that way. Now, these cars can seem very overwhelming also, but there are a lot of things that you can do that are fairly simple. So subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of videos on, things you could do. Spark plug change is not that hard. We replace our interior fan motor, the air pump for the air ride suspension. We got a lot of videos like that. You can save yourself a lot of money. Just do some simple things yourself. So anyway, we're going to get started on this. The first thing we got to do is we got to remove all our plastic stuff. So of course we got to take the cover off, and that just pops off. And we got to remove our plastic around the edges. So we just pull our rubber up as far as we need it, take our pins out, and remove this plastic thing on both sides. So we're going to get that removed and the cover off, and then we'll move on and see what we got next. Okay, so we got our side pieces removed. Next thing we got to do is get this thing out of there. So this is actually in the way. If you look down there, there's no way you're getting your hand in there at all. So what we got to do first, we got to take these braces off. They're just bolting each side, one on each side. Then we have to take these bolts out on each side. Okay, we have to take out the two star bits that go into the hood closer on each side. Then there's a couple star bits up front here. Also, if you can see here where this bolt hole is, there's two support rods. One goes that way and one goes that way. And there's a star bit right in the center. Now that should have one there, but this car doesn't have one on there. If you look at this, I actually got this from Copart wrecked and repaired it. So anyway, I ended up with not having that. I put it all back together, and then anyway, long story. So if you're interested in what it took to rebuild it, take a look at one of our videos and you can see how that's done. But we're going to get that piece off and then we'll move on. Okay, so we got all that off of there. That's out of the way. The next thing we have to do is remove the reservoir, antifreeze reservoir for the turbo coolers, which is right here. So it's just got two bolts, and then you have to take these hoses. You see they just have these pull-up clips. You can pull them up and pull the hose right off, and be careful, don't lose that little clip, because you can't just buy the clip, you have to buy the whole hose. You'll be sitting here waiting for parts. So we take that loose. Then we have to take it loose here from the turbo and take this hose off the bottom if you have it. I think the FO1s are a little bit different and some of the newer ones are a little bit different, but at any rate, take the hose off here and then take the line loose here on the turbo side. Take it loose here. So then you can take that whole piece out. Now you can see there's wires in there, they're clips. You just unclip that stuff. You may want to put something underneath of it because antifreeze is going to come out. But we're going to go ahead and do that next, and then we'll move on and see what else. Okay, so we got that all out of the way. We can start to see what's going on down there, but still not a lot of room. So the next thing we got to do, we actually have to remove the air cleaner on this side. So I can show you on this one, you just have a plug, you have a clip here that's holding it on, and then you loosen this screw here and it'll pop up. It takes a little bit of force to pop it up, and you can pull it out of this joint. And then on this side of the air duct, I can show you, this was here. They just got little clips that it clips into, and then this part goes down and clips into the front to draw fresh air in. So you get that out of the way. And here's your plug. You can get to it relatively easy. Then there's you can see down in there, the aluminum. That's got a Torx that just holds, it's a bracket that holds some hoses on. So we get all those loose, get it unplugged, get your air cleaner off, take the plug out, and then we'll move on to see what's next. Okay, with all that stuff loose, the next thing you got to do is there's clips right here. So you can take a little screwdriver, sometimes it takes 2 hands, you got to pull back on the clip a little bit, you can stick something under there and pull up on it. And you've got one on each side, and then you just got to start working it up. So you'll see it's a little bit ignorant, but you know, you have to move stuff around, and then you got to be careful. You got to force it, but you got to be easy also so you don't break stuff. But this part will come, this front part will come right out, and then we'll have room to get down in there and do what we need to do. Okay, so you can see there where I got my Torx stuck in. It looks like it's a T60. And what I use is a piece of pipe like this. Stick my ratchet in a piece of pipe so I get some good torque on it. And turn it clockwise like you're tightening it. And the belt will loosen up, and then you can pop it off up here in the radiator. Now, for the bottom stretch belt, generally I just cut them off because, you know, you'd have to work it off with a tool. But we're going to show you how to put it back on. But at any rate, we're going to get these 2 belts off, and then we'll move on. Okay, so we got the belts off. So what I do, I get set up. So it's actually a 27 socket that goes in the center bolt here. And then I use the same setup with the pipe so I have some torque. And what you want to do is you want to set your belt on the AC part. Okay, and then you need one of these tools. Now this one, you can see it says install and remove on the other side. So you see the little groove there. You get that set there, and then you use your wrench to turn it, and it will force the belt on. So you obviously want the install side, and it will push the belt on the pulley. So I'll be honest with you, unless you've done this a few times, you're not going to get down there and do it the first try. It can be very, very irritating, but it can be done. People do it every single day. So we're going to get that belt on, and if you can get it on the first part of the pulley, then you can keep working it towards the back, and I'll show you what I mean once I get it started on there. But we're going to get it on there, and then we'll move on. Okay, so hopefully you can see down there. You see how it's on the front part of the pulley and it needs to be on the back part of the pulley. And if you can see, it's not all the way on the AC unit, but it is on there. You can see it's tight. So what you got to do is you just got to keep working at it. Put pressure on the belt and keep turning it over until the belt works to the back place, and you can get it worked back there. Once you get it started on there, that's the hardest part. But at any rate, we're going to get it worked back in the correct groove, and then we'll move on. Okay, so I got the bottom belt on there. Dropped some stuff down in there so I'd take the bottom cover off of it. So anyway, if you don't want to take cover off, don't drop anything down there. But again, we set up our ratchet. I got my pipe on there, and I usually wrap the belt around. Then you can hook it on this lever right here. You pull the tensioner and then slide it on the alternator. So, you know, it's not, this is easier than getting the stretch belt on. So we're going to get that on there and see. So we got our belt on. I don't know why BMW couldn't put a tensioner down there. I know I'd got E39 is pretty much the same setup, but they got a tensioner on the air conditioner. That stretch belt's a dog to get to down there. I mean, I had to fight it. It's terrible, but you can get it. I don't want to discourage you. This belt relatively goes on easy, just like any belt. Just loop, pull the tensioner, pop it on, you're good to go. So you put everything back on. Don't forget to put antifreeze back in it where you took the water out for your intercoolers. And like I say, subscribe. You got a lot of videos on here that can help you out with a lot of stuff. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.